hopefully our procedures hold and we make sure that we're not reporting things that aren't verified, that we haven't checked out ourselves. But there is enormous pressure to do that, because if somebody's reporting something, there's enormous competitive pressure to either match it or knock it down. And so, yeah, it's tricky, but you have to make sure. I mean, you can only, really, you build a reputation as a journalist over years and years and years, and you can ruin it in one tweet. So you have to really be cautious and make sure that everything you're putting out is as accurately reported as humanly possible. A lot of the tweets that I will send out I have around 5,000 followers, but retweeting, so I have about 5,000 followers, and then if I tweet something out, ABC will retweet it, and we've got somewhere on the order of, I think, 3 million people. So in just a few seconds, you've reached 3 million people at least, and that's just our main account. And then we have, each individual broadcast has a Twitter account with tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of other followers. So I tweet it out. You have to be careful. Like, I don't tweet everything, especially if I think it's going to put us at a competitive disadvantage if we know something but we don't quite want to report it yet. So you have to be choosy about exactly what you tweet out. But I do use it as a reporting tool, and it's great. It's great because you can. It's instantaneous. I mean, we don't have thank goodness, we do not have a 24-hour cable network that we're constantly filing for. So our broadcasts are in the morning, in the evening, and then late at night. So there's 3 main broadcasts. We have radio, which is 24 hours a day, and .com, which is obviously 24 hours a day. But for our main broadcast, we often have to wait before we report information widely. So Twitter has been great to sort of fill that gap.
I think in general, CNN's quite cautious when it comes to that kind of thing. Certainly as an individual reporter at CNN. And remember, CNN isn't one monolithic sort of block. I mean, it's made up of lots of individuals, each of whom have a different sort of skill set or a different way of working. But the way I work is that I don't report anything that I can't verify myself. But I mean, that would include if somebody in a position of authority tells me this is the case, I would attribute that to them. And attribution is an incredibly important part of being a journalist. You don't say things without attribution that you haven't seen yourself. The only things you say, that's definitely happened, are the things you said yourself, seen yourself. But if somebody like Angus Houston here, who's heading up the search effort here in Australia, tells me something, as long as I say he said it, in my belief, whether it's true or not, whether it turns out to be the case or not, it's true that he said it. And that's how you cover yourself. That's how you make sure that you kind of communicate all the information, even though it's not verified information. You attribute it, and that's why it's so important. I think I've had to, and I've enjoyed actually embracing some of the social media networks that are out there, like Twitter and others. I find them incredibly useful as well, by the way. First and foremost, Twitter, for instance. It gives you access to all the information that's going on, whether it's wrong or right, all the rumours that are circulating, whether they're accurate or not, which I like. So you feel like you're across everything when you're following the right people in Twitter. And that's a very useful journalistic tool that we didn't have 5 years ago. Actually, I don't know how long Twitter's been around. I only got into it a couple of years ago. But and for me, that's its primary function. In terms of my skills, I've started to tweet quite a lot. I think that, if you're going to, I'm not sure everybody agrees with this, not even at my company, but I think that if you're going to break news, if you're not breaking it on Twitter these days, you're not really breaking it. So I try to use it as much as possible as a platform to promote CNN's brand, to try and direct people to the CNN.com website for more detail. You've got to be careful about who you listen to. You've still got to be careful that you don't listen to people who don't really know what they're talking about. And how do you do that? I mean, I don't know. You use your gut, I suppose. Your gut, you feel it in your waters.